Thanks for you guys, because someone sent me this Science Daily on fasting triggers stem cell regeneration of damaged old immune system cells. I think that's pretty good. I think it's really interesting to look at the fact that detoxification, because that's what fasting is a process of detoxification, regenerates stem cells and regenerates old tissue. But of course it does. That's why you see and why some of you have gotten so successful at realigning and regenerating your bodies. And isn't it beautiful? Man lost, because of the medical association, lost his hope and his happiness over health. Because there is no happiness and health with the AMA. You know, it's fear driven, and then when you feel like you're out of fear, you're okay. The problem is that when you treat a symptom, you're never okay. Because you're never curing the problem. You're treating the symptom and you're not addressing the cause of the problem. And that's the beauty of naturopathy, and the whole consciousness of naturopathy was spawned out of understanding the cause, the terrain, the culturing medium, in other words. You know, we're fixated on God's bad. Bacterium's bad, virals are bad. However, you have to understand man-made virals are what we're dealing a lot with. Man-made virals and mutations from pharmaceutical companies. That's what we're dealing with more aggressively than God itself. It's sad thing. But in the course of the growth of consciousness at this level, it's understandable, but everything is in cycles, and sometimes I feel like we should break a cycle and start a new cycle of a higher level, because these cycles can change and be uplifted, even though this is a created universe. You know, all this is already created. You have deja vu very easily, and you can get out of the body and see the future movement of this planet. So you can see these things, and it changes the way you understand how everything is. But it doesn't change sometimes when you're totally involved in it. So this is a good paper. I like that it breaks down the elevated white blood cell counts, but it doesn't take them out. You know, that's the beauty of nature. Nature just seems to bring balance in there. When you use the nature's parasitic herbs, it doesn't like overkill. Because the worst thing you can do is overkill your bacteria in your body. I don't care what medical doctors think. They're crazy. If you think a bacteria is your worst enemy, then you don't understand what's causing problems with us all. Okay, so let me see here. Let me see. I don't know if to read this one. What's this on my desk for? Oh. Oh, this is a person asking me about Ebola, you know. And there's some more facts on the Ebola about Dr. Brentley and the assistant nurse, Nancy. That sounds cliche, don't it? And they were given 1/2 dose of ZMapp en route to the U.S. Interesting how they dealt with this viral, or did their own bodies deal with the viral and they just supported them? I don't know, you know, it'd be interesting to see how they dealt with the virus and stuff. But remember, man-made virals are heavily out there, and the Ebola is considered man-made. And so that would mean that somebody consciously probably introduced it into Africa, which we know the HIV was consciously introduced in the Hep B vax in Chicago, San Francisco. I forget all the key places, but Dr. Wallach has that down. So just regurgitating type things. Now, this is from Dennis. Okay, so I have been on this diet for over a month. I have lost 15 pounds and some muscle and still feel like my thyroid is whack. Feel daisy and foggy-brained. That's not thyroid. I need protein. I also sent Dr. Moore some info to see if I am a candidate for healing my thyroid. I was wondering, what success have you had with Hashimoto thyroiditis? Well, I haven't seen anybody not get rid of their thyroid problems. That's first of all, and Hashimoto's is just their standard cliche there when you have a hypothyroid condition. The problem is they don't consider the pituitary. Even when they look at TSHs and the move of TSHs, they consider the thyroid either hyper or hypo, considering the whatever the TSH is, and not really considering if there is a actual pituitary weakness to caboot. Now, first of all, Dennis, you've only been doing this a month, so you gotta rethink. Because you're going to be, you got to give yourself 4 to 6 months to resurrect your body, and that's not rebuilding it completely. That's not taking you into the gigantic tops of Wellville. Although some of you with strong constitutions that were not milk drinkers and pretty good genes and all that can start tapping in those months. But you got to realize you got to give yourself some time. The thyroid gets full of inflammation from mucus and acids, just like everything else. Remember, thyroiditis. Itis is inflammation. Inflammation is what? Acidosis. And where's these acids coming from? Oh, the cells in the thyroid themselves. Oh, yeah. Well, that means in the lymph system around or in the thyroid around the cells interstitially isn't being drained through the kidneys, right? That's what that means. Now, it could be a pituitary problem, too, where the sinuses are full of mucus. The pituitary is either genetically or full of lymph the same way, not draining out the head. It kind of relates to being foggy and things like that. That's not a thyroid weakness. Thyroid deals with heart rate, somewhat energetics, but more related to digestive metabolism. It's the thyroid controls your rate of metabolism. Now, the thyroid also produces calcitonin. So calcitonin and parathormone both are used in the utilization and the movement of calcium in the body. So there's a big deal to have a healthy thyroid and parathyroid. So if you're going to detox to fix this, then you got to really get in and detox. Could take you several months. If you want to use a glandular, which is what I would do just to enhance the function of, but you still have to clean the inflammation out of it. The glandulars is not a detoxifying issue. Glandulars are enhancing issues. They enhance cell function by stimulating cell awareness. And they've already worked with these with radioisotopes and things like this to show that chemistry from glands get to the proper glands. They've done some neat stuff. I can't remember. I used to have Dr. Lee's original works, and there's paper, handwritten. I don't know how I got those. Handwritten from Dr. Lee himself. He was the biochemist that created Standard Process Labs. And I don't know, I got so much stuff stacked everywhere in the world. I don't know. When I die, you guys have fun digging into this stuff. I need protein. Yeah, no, you don't. You need adrenal power to come up. You need neurotransmitters, because if you're feeling tired and foggy, my friend, you're losing your adrenals. Well, that's where the energy is. So you're probably running a little low blood pressure. So get on your adrenals and kidneys. That's your doorway into the lymph system that's backed up here and causing inflammation. Come on in.
I'm going to borrow.
I am mad because you had good watermelons and I didn't get any good watermelons.
Can I borrow you for a second? Chris said he'll.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think you talked to this case or somebody brought it to your attention. He has pancreatic cancer.
Okay.
Mass at the very top, right next where the stomach dumps into the pancreas. He has a lesion on the adrenals, cysts on the kidneys.
Look at that.
He's got gallstones. Able to eat very little.
Oh, wow.
And lots of pain.
Jesus.
Good news is the lungs look good, the spleen looks good, the bones look good as far as cancer goes.
Well, that's good.
Since he has a mass that it went from 4.5 to 5.2 centimeters,
Okay.
so it's growing.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a case where you would recommend enzymes so that the pancreas isn't having to do a lot of work and we can go in and try and rebuild it, or not?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Mm-mm. No, and he should be living. I'll say this: if he was just totally flatly. Now, I had a case, pancreatic cancer case, totally not digesting anything, and her pancreas had degenerated real bad. I mean, she ate an apple, literally pooped it.
Well, there's necrosis on it already.
Oh, I'm sure there is, because the tumor is just the body collecting acids and
Yeah.
putting them in a pocket, if you will, right?
Yeah.
It's just a swelling of lymph, that interstitial fluid. That's why you see a little blood in it. It's a little, and so that's a pocket of that.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's surrounding cells, that means you're suffocating cells with acids. It's not long. You're going to mutate. And of course, you're going to see a cancer cell in a tumor.
Right.
But to go to the extent of giving chemo or radiation because you're thinking that, I mean, it's just insane to think
Right.
that that's some type of creeping disease. So the thing here is, I would definitely give him get the stones out too. Get him on the fast food and all of that sort of thing. Put him on definitely on a grape fast. Grape and lemons and things like. He's going to have to do some fasting up there to get this thing out of there. At the same time, GI broom and whatever he needs to move those bowels, because I'd rather him move and eliminate as opposed to digest.
Right.
Right now, with that said, chewing small meals more often, all that rhythm, where you just have a little
I
bit
think
at
he's
a time.
past anything salad. I think it needs to be juicing.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's possible. Well, no, because he has no problem. He's okay with getting it down. We don't have to worry about feeding tubes because you're going to hit pancreatic no matter what. So I would do that. I mean, you just have to do the juices and stuff. I don't know about pulling a pancreatic tumor out with black salve. I've never done it.
Mm-hmm.
But he could get up on the internet and
Do some research on it.
do some see if somebody's ever
He's in
pulled
so
a
much
pancreas.
pain.
I would try it though. You can put it right from here, right over the pancreas, and pull that puppy right. I pull liver tumors, but I pulled them from the back.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that, just for right now? And just
Is this
focusing
kidney
on
two?
those three
Is this
areas.
kidney number 2?
Yeah. And just focusing on the adrenals, the kidneys, the gallstones, and the pancreas.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. The thing I'm thinking about, if we address the pancreas with pancreatic items, it's possible to increase the function of the pancreas. But increasing the function of the pancreas increases cell metabolism.
Right.
And increasing cell metabolism increases cell waste. Not just the demand for
Right.
nutrients, but the process of creating waste.
Right.
And that could increase the size of the tumor. I'm just saying could.
No, I know.
Kind of in a catch-22 here when you have someone that loses their digestion completely or going that way, and at the same time, if you enhance something too much, the possibility of making a tumor grow just
Yeah, I
because.
thought about that.
Yeah,
But
it is.
how do you beef up that pancreas
Well, that's the
without
problem.
that happening?
That therein lies the problem. I'm going to say, I don't know which, the glandular or the herbs would be better. The glandular is more of a cell enhancing thing, but it is somewhat of a protein nature.
So maybe hold off on that one.
Yeah, maybe hold off on that one. I think the liver gallbladder, the barbarous family, is adequate for the pancreas because most of the herbs for the gallbladder,
for the
liver,
kidney.
are pancreatic herbs as well. It's not vice versa for some reason. I think more because herbalists in the past think of pancreas, they think of blood sugar instead of thinking of pancreatic
Right.
cells.
Right.
So I think the liver gallbladder is adequate for both issues.
Okay.
But I think the GI broom and get those bowels opened up because remember they're the branch of the tree.
Well,
And if he
the
had
reason
to,
that this whole thing is here right now that we're talking about it is because she called in and said he hasn't gone to the bathroom.
is that the guy that hadn't peed or pooed in a few days? I sent him to the ER.
Oh no, you did. Yeah,
He
you
didn't.
tried.
He
You
didn't go.
I told Megan. I said I think that he's not moving and it's shutting off his ability to pee. And she,
I do too. It's
as
probably-
soon as he got on the stomach in bowel 5, he started going poop, and then he started
Going
peeing.
pee because when you swell in the rectal area, it can shut off your urination. No question. I've seen that
Yeah.
myself. Absolutely. So, well, that's good because I was concerned. He hadn't peed in a couple of days and stuff, so I sent him to the ER. I said, I don't know. Are you in kidney failure? Because I had no idea. I didn't know the case or anything,
Yeah.
And if you start peeing, you're going to go in because
Yeah.
you got to say,
Well, she was ready to write him off and said he's ready to go just because he wasn't pooping.
Jesus Christ. Got one of those kind of wives. I don't know. No. I mean, you know what? Sometimes
She's in
people
panic mode, but-
Sometimes people are ready. Well, that's the one thing you have to do is tell him he must relax of all things because I just had another case here and that she's struggling. And the reason she's struggling, she's staying active and busy, so she's losing her epinephrines in her adrenal glands, and she's suppressing her dopamines because she doesn't take a rest. And if you don't rest, you can't poop and pee right. And that's the whole point of detoxification, is resting.
Yeah.
And you've got to rest. This guy's got to rest. You can't worry about it. And that's why I tell people, this is a time for introspective and get a hold of who you are. Because if you lose your body, you gotta be strong with yourself anyway. Because you're going to enjoy another trip.
Yeah.
And you have to realize your body isn't something it's just something you've been using.
Yeah.
So people have to get with that and rest with that. But I mean, if you want to pull, I mean, we could try and pull. He's got to get the black salve, but we could help him pull it, because if he can't get it any other way, it's worth trying.
Well, he's got the Canex in capsules, but he hasn't started them yet.
Okay, I do one capsule twice a day probably, But number 5, do we have? Okay, you know what I would do with this? I definitely would do the kidney formulas a dropper full every 3 hours. And I would do lymph node 5.
Okay.
All right. I notice you don't have any on here. You have.
I've got lymphatic. I was going to ask you which
right
one
here.
you would
Yep,
use.
exactly. I would probably do lymphatic 1 in the capsules and hit the lymph node 5 tincture, because that you're getting up into the bloods and the pokes, the things that this tumor probably needs. And he should just live on grapes and lemons. Or oranges and grapefruits.
He eats about 3 grapes and can't hardly eat anymore.
Well, it's going to be eat a little, relax, eat a little, super chew, digest in his mouth. Same digestive enzymes basically, so let him just super chew. Relax, super chew, get in the sun, got that full spectrum lighting, get in his eyes and start healing the pancreas. The pancreas is the symbol for the causal, and the causal is orange. So anything orange will help him digest better. So perhaps some cantaloupe and stuff would help. But get in some sun and get some color therapy going on, but not too much to create too much acidosis,
Like
And just
15, 20 minutes a day.
Yeah, just play with that and have some fun here.
Okay. And you said lymph node 5.
Yeah, I would. I mean, you have nothing to lose but pull on this baby.
Yeah.
And that's got to clean up those bowels also. Remember to break that loose. Pancreas branch on the tree. And the fact that his liver's got stones just shows you that there's the same things going on the other side of the road.
Yeah. The kidney, I found that when I have kidney infection or restriction, that kidney 1 is killer.
Yeah, Willie's, he loves kidney 1. And Willie's done a lot with kidney number 1. I respect that. So that's why I use kidney.
Would you do 2 capsules every couple of, 3-4 hours?
You could do 2 or 3 capsules every 2 or 3 hours. I'd say every 3 hours you could do 2 capsules, because you're hitting them with the level 2 as well. Hopefully, you can get some action in there on the kidneys. Is he filtering? God. That's the problem, is the race we have, and the race all the people on Facebook and everyone else have, is to get people filtering before the tumor creates a more serious problem.
Yeah.
And I don't know where the magic is in that, other than getting them closer up to the fasting stage.
And even though he's having a struggle with going to the bathroom, you'd still get him on the GI broom. Okay.
Yeah, because the GI broom, our GI broom isn't constipating. Now, if we were using, let's say Schultz's.
Well, he's not drinking much, so that's my only thing.
Well, he's going to have to with that, but
Okay.
he can do minute amounts. See, he
I've
doesn't
got
have to just chug it. He could do little bit amounts of that to start drawing and pulling on the mucosa, start opening up so he has better absorption.
I've got him on Heal LT, so that's going to get some liquid in him. Okay, and we're going to hold off on the pancreas.
I would, just for now. Just because the concern,
Even
don't
the
know it's
pancreas
factual. Huh?
Even the pancreas.
I'd take that one off too.
Okay.
I just focus on that liver gallbladder, which the herbs are going to come over and touch that as well. But
This
remember,
causes me more of an issue than the pancreas does.
does it?
When I'm on the liver gallbladder, because my liver's weak,
Yeah.
I have flare-ups with it.
No kidding. Well, the thing is
But that's just me.
yeah. But the thing is that that it's pancreatic cancer because of the lymph system, not the pancreas itself.
Right.
It does show that the pancreas probably has some genetic weaknesses in it. It's why you see that popping first. But
Yeah.
over here, the liver's waiting to pop. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And so you know the bowel wall is pretty inflamed, and you know so.
Yep.
But I tell him to relax, because nature's going to take him to fasting anyway. So he doesn't want to eat much, and of course he can't eat much. That's just what nature does. It takes you down to nothing.
Yeah.
You know, and they don't get that. Oh, you got to eat. Well, fasting is how nature cures. The problem is people are so acidic, you know, and dehydrated. I mean, man's got himself in a tough place.
Sorry, I interrupted.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Watermelon from Indiana.
Thank you. Mwah.
Watermelon.
And I'm not going to be on here probably because Chris is
Yes,
going to
you
cut
are.
me
I'm
out.
not going to
but-
let him take it off.
Oh.
They need to hear some of these cases that we're
yeah,
dealing with.
that's
Because
true.
some of these guys are dealing in tough cases themselves now.
Yeah.
You know, I get calls from a lot of the YouTubers that are healers now, and they're having some tough. This one guy is just getting tough case after tough case after tough case.
Yeah.
But they're winning them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I'm
Thanks,
glad you're
Robert.
back. Sorry about that, guys, but you know that's what we do all day long. Poor people. Anyway, Dennis, sorry about that. The need is to get the adrenals up for the energy and the neurotransmitters. The protein will just bring you down more, bro. Too acidic, that's our problem anyway. Breaking down kidney tissue, GI tract tissue, got to lose the protein concepts. They've been wrong concepts and they've hurt man big time. Easy to put a thyroid. I do a thyroid glandular, say a 150. Check my basal temperatures under your arm, Dennis. Pop that thyroid up. But you've got to also look a little deeper to see if you have a pituitary problem as opposed to a thyroid problem. And I've laid that out. We've talked a lot about that on some of these videos. So go back and review these videos and play with this. But you'll be able to get that going. But 1 month. 1 month. I see people that have no pain after a month. I've seen people, we had a Bell's palsy case gone in a week. But as a rule, don't look to that because, you know, you're going to be in for 6 months or more. But you're in a, you want to kind of, myself, even though I use this under the orifice of detoxification and going that route for cleaning and repairing of the human body, you want to start a new lifestyle. Because you can't go back. There's just you can't go back, and you don't want to go back. You want to keep going forward. You want to lose the past. You know, take a big set of scissors and cut all those strings that's holding you from the past. Start in this moment, a brand new world, a brand new life. Forget everything in your past. Be in the moment. So this moment, nothing from the past is involved in the moment. And you can't do that if you use your mind. You've got to get out of the thinking process and into yourself as consciousness or as pure awareness. And awareness doesn't use thought for awareness. Thought is a process of division, a process of analytical and comparisons and rationales. Has nothing to do with consciousness. It's a body. So have fun with that. Filtering. I am filtering. Oh, R-O-Z-Y, Rosie. That's an interesting way to look at that. Wow, fantastic. I stopped eating meat in July, which was 2 months ago. Stopped eating starches a month ago. Since July 30th, I've eaten mainly fruits, went off the chart very little. So in 6 days of taking the botanicals, I saw a large mucus in my urine and mostly flakes since then. So my question is, how often am I to see sediment in my urine? Well, once your kidneys really get online and start filtering, you should see it about every time you pee. Some anyway. You know, if you're shucking down a lot of water and stuff, it's possible to thin yourself out. But to tell you the truth, you don't want to be doing that either. So you should always see some. For the men, you can see it every time you pee, you know. For the ladies, you got to always have something to check, I guess. But you know what? Once you get filtering, I wouldn't even worry about it. You're filtering, and now you're good, and you go on, and you keep working on the kidneys for a while and keep going. And this is the great time because that's when you feel your symptoms are starting to disappear. You're starting to feel the changes in the body. Hard when you're not eliminating. mean, that's the problem in the first place, is a lack of proper elimination of cellular waste, not digestive waste. Most people can get the poop through one way or another, but the filtration of the kidneys of cellular waste is key. And of course, this also can affect the absorption and the carrying of your lipids to the liver. What must I eat because I'm only eating fruits? I hate salads. I know. You get to the point where it's like, can I eat sweet potatoes? Yeah. Quinoa, you know what? If you feel you've reached the area that you feel good at, you feel you got as healthy as you want to take it, you know you've rebuilt whatever that needed to be, you've got everything filtering good and things are good, then a little quinoa, you know, something like that. Always have your fruits for breakfast. Always want to break the fast from the night before. Breaking the fast from the night before with fruit, always. So breakfast is always a fruit meal, always. And that turns on the nervous system, very thing everybody wants. That cleans the kidneys, that starts moving the lymph system. I mean, it's good, good, good all the way around. And it tastes good too. So, but lunchtime then, if you were coming down off of detox, you could do a salad instead of fruit. If you don't like salads, do what I do. When I go out, I get cucumbers, whatever I can get that's a veggie fruit, tomatoes, cucumbers, and things like that, and I eat that. Or I get avocados and cucumbers, and I make me little cucumber chips things, stuff like that, instead of salads. Because lettuce is hard to digest for humans, and after you're used to the fineness and energetics of fruit, it's hard to go to a salad. I like my salads once in a while, but I do try to have one at lunch. But sometimes it's just frustrating because we go out and grab and, you know. So, Rosie, I love the way you spell that. Fantastic, girl. Get a good job, honey. This is a big deal. So you did a good job here and you want to keep it up. My pain is not subsiding. What can I do? Keep hitting it. I wouldn't back off of this at all. If you're in pain, sweetheart, keep hitting it until you're out of pain. Now you got your kidneys filtering. Now you've opened the doors. Now kick that crap out of those doors. And, you know, on that end, go on a grape fast. You know, you're just now opening your door. Now send some crap through it. Keep in mind, I have chronic overall body pain, mostly in the back of my neck, down to the shoulder area. So each day I have to wear a neck brace. Some days it's okay. And this is why you want to don't go ask about quinoa now. You want to keep doing better. Not can you, what can I add? What can you take away, honey? You want to keep going until you're out of pain. This isn't now my kidneys are filtering. This is now my kidneys are filtering. Now I have a doorway to get out of pain. Now I get these acids out of my body. I'm out of pain. And you can get there. And you will get there. And just hit it harder. Go on a fruit fast right now. Winter's coming, so get it done now. Hit yourself on a grape fast or something, sweetheart. Pull this pain out of you. Pulling pain out is pulling what out? Acids. Absolutely. And where are these acids coming from? The cell themselves. Of course, you have a little parasitic waste. Remember, fungus leaves uric acid. You got bacterium acids and stuff just from doo-doos and stuff. So you have nano poo-poos and stuff. But that's why you find them where? Not in the blood, in the lymphatic system. You find some in the blood, but you have some cleansing ability of the blood. So, Rosie, get this pain out of your body, sweetheart. No sense sitting there in pain. I'm on a mission to detox my body. I love it. I'm about 80% raw right now, but have a history of heavy drinking and want to deeply cleanse my body inside and out. And it's a lot of fun. Who is this? This is Tudru. I don't know. Sophia. Sophia. Good thinking, dear. I want to get started right away. Would the best option for me to be to do the detox kits in order, I would. And at the same time, get your diet line. Get yourself lined up with the fruits and have fun. I mean, do this as a new adventure. You know, the old, we got to get rid of the old here. The old is just following us around like a stale set of socks, you know. Let's go. Let's start opening up new doors and excitement of beauty and love and stuff. It's exciting. Also, I'm having trouble getting my acne to clear up. And your acne will not clear up until you get your lymph filtering properly. Once your lymph is filtering and you're moving that out, your skin should clear right up with that. I've never seen it not. So if you're having a hard time, it just shows you're struggling with your lymph system, you know. So you kick it up another notch. Kicking up another notch means I'm going over here and doing a little more mono eating of fruit maybe. Maybe I'm going to do a lemon juice fast. Maybe I'm going to do a grape fast. Who cares? Pick whatever you like and have fun with it. You know, watermelon fast. I mean, you sit me in the middle of a seeded watermelon field in Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia. I'll live there for a while. I'll fast. Oh my God. Will that go away while doing the kits? It should, yeah, very much so. You can add the skin on that, but I wouldn't add the skin till on down about the second month or so, because you're on the liver gallbladder for the first month and a half. And that is a skin formula too. What's funny is these herbs are just, these herbs are not just single focus. These herbs can do multiple things. So look at Oregon grapefruit. You know, one doctor thought Oregon grapefruit is a reason that kills people, you know, and it was like, what? Oregon grapefruit has been used to the dawn of time. Oregon grapefruit has never hurt anybody. As a matter of fact, a pharmaceutical company has a formula for a psoriasis, and it's mostly Oregon grapefruit. You know, so pharmaceutical companies use herbs when you're not looking. Now, Rexall Drugs out the front door sells pharmaceuticals, but Rexall Drugs have been selling homeopathic sprays and herbal tinctures for years out the back door. I mean, these pharmaceutical companies have every angle covered. They're money people. That's all they care. I was watching that the Enbrel again. You see that all the time on Enbrel commercial. And of course, they have sometimes fatal events. Now, I've known about Enbrel for years. Sometimes fatal events, and it just got me last night, got me in a tizzy, because it's like, I like to take the FDA, you know, and conk somebody on the head there. Sometimes causes fatal events. They're trying to get rid of all the good herbs, and they come up with these asinine ideas that herbs hurt people, when just one drug like Enbrel has sometimes fatal events. How often is sometimes? Every other person? Every 10 people? How often is sometimes? So sometimes I think was 1 in 10. So 1 in 10. You got 1,000 people and 1 in 10 die from it. How many people are going to die? You see what I'm saying? This is bad stuff. We have some serious evil things going on here in this world. And the FDA is one of them. I'm sorry, boys. You guys are allowing toxic, deadly chemicals, and there's only one reason, and that is to kill people. Nobody allows things that kill people in a society that's civilized and has any consciousness to it at all. So to have a society such as America, where they allow toxic pharmaceuticals that kill people, and there's a lot of them that do, we've got evil people running things. And it's just going to have to be changed, and it's coming. It's coming. So, I'm about 80% raw right now, but have a history of heavy drink. I want to yep, and yeah. But anyway, the liver gallbladder will help with the skin. Dry skin brushing, get yourself sweating, all these sort of things. Get your thyroid up. Of course, if your thyroid is too low, it's hard to sweat. ACL tear, grade 1. Hi, Dr. Morris. Recently, by accident, watched your videos on YouTube on health and detoxification, but trying to move to fruits alternatively. I feel more energetic and my body feels lighter now than before. And that's the beauty of it. You know, it's hard to tell people, because some people like to feel full and fat. I don't. I like to feel light. I don't want to know I have a body. I don't want to feel like I'm dragging my body around with me. Nobody wants to do that. You want to feel that you're a feather. And that is such a good feeling, to feel light and that there's no obstructions in the body and everything is flowing and moving and there's no pain and there's no discomfort. That feels good. And that's what this is all about. This is just the physical body we're talking about. You're a being of complicated origin. You're from, there's so much to creation. We're just having a discussion on how to get the physical body healthy. My question is, my daughter has an ACL tear grade 1 on her right knee. Doctor said it won't heal by itself and she needed to go for ACL reconstruction surgery. But through your videos, you explained that the body can heal anything by itself. Please advise. Thank you very much. You know what I would do? This is from Malaysia. I tell you what I'd do. I would hit the parathyroid gland with the parathyroid. I would also get the bones formula at the same time. Now, you want to get the kidneys filtering, because one reason things don't heal, whether it's bone, connective tissue, tendons, it doesn't matter. When you see things that don't heal, then you know you're too acidic. And of course, when you see a tear, sometimes you're already too acidic, and this is why the tear. You already have a weakness there. You're just unaware of that. If you look at the eyes, sometimes you can see where you had a weak knee, and then that happened. So strengthen. Clean and strengthen has always been a philosophy that's sound in science, it's sound in common sense, it's sound in practicality, and it's how you get well. You clean out all the acids and metals and neurotoxins and all the anything that's considered a radical, and you rebuild the body, and that's as simple as it is. And we have all the tools. It's just we carry ourselves down the road of advancement too much, so we have to be very careful. Now, can you please keep my identity confidential? I sure will. I am experiencing a rash that will not go away. This started over a year ago. It all began 3 days after I started taking Garden of Life raw meal and Garden of Life protein. Well, first of all, I don't know what Garden of Life, I think I've heard of them. We might even have their information back here. Maybe I've seen that. There's a lot of companies out there. So I don't know what's in the Garden of Life protein, but I can tell you that when you're already having skin problems and you're acidic, the word protein is something you don't want to even think about, because it'll exacerbate your symptoms. You want more pain? Eat more protein. Try this. If you are in pain, try to go for a week or so on raw foods. And watch your pain starting to subside and everything coming out. And then just go have you a meal with high protein in it. Let me show you something. This is protein is something you don't do when you have physical problems. It shows you how toxic your proteins are. And most of this, even in cancer, what a lot of people don't see out there is these research papers and what they have to say about proteins in cancer. And yet, under the same breath that they're saying proteins is a big issue when it comes to cancer, they're recommending high-protein diets. You see what I'm saying? There's no consistency with the AMA in that way. They think we're inconsistent, and it's only we're inconsistent because we've been severely suppressed. States have tried to lock us up only because of the AMA and their power of lobbying. They violated, the FDA and the AMA have helped states violate due process rights, deprivation of rights. There's some heavy suing that can go on here, but now you got so much corruption in the federal system. I don't know any remedy that's available properly to those that are seeking truth. So, the rash started on my lower bottom side of stomach and under left armpit. And you'll see it traveling where you see lymph stagnation. And, of course, under the skin subcutaneously. So you're not eliminating to the level you need, because when you are, the rash goes away because you're eliminating that which is causing it. And so, again, this is all about kidney filtration and, of course, the ability to sweat. You take care of those two things and your skin condition will clear right up. Now, no matter what level it is, simple acne all the way to psoriasis. You get a lot of those cases, but none of them are incurable ever at all. It's a process of elimination, and that the problem is you're not eliminating. And that's important. I quit taking this after 2 weeks, no kidding. Something there I don't like. Now, it's not to say that it isn't good. I don't like the protein, so giving that away. This other one is Life Raw Meal. I can't imagine what that is. But if it's all fruits, berries, and herbs, then these type of things would be good for you. If they don't have those things, then it's more like chia seeds and proteins from dairy, things like this. No way you will actually add to your lymphatic problems, and then you'll see, that's why you can see a rash get worse. So depends what the formula is, because there are herbs and stuff that you start on in a detox, and your skin starts to pop out with problems. And that's always an indication that your kidneys are shut down. Your kidneys are just not filtering at all. And so when you start kicking up elimination, your skin is going to bear the brunt of it. And you're going to look worse in the skin. It's not that you're not going to get rid of it. The sad thing is that some people that have been carrying these type of problems for years lose faith in the ability that there's anything out there for them. And that's because they've been wallowing in the AMA and pharmaceuticals, and there is no curative value there. Never has and never will be. Wrong focus, wrong thinking, everything about that. So you have to change that around a little bit. And ordered some herbal products over the internet did a parasite cleanse. I have been on and off the raw diet since then due to my aggravation of this. Well, sometimes it's good just to get in and deal with it. No matter if it just looks horrible and itches and doesn't look good for a while, sometimes it's better just to go after it and get through this quicker. You can always get into saunas. You can always sweat. Even if it's raw, you can always get yourself opened up. And you always want to clean your skin after you sweat because you're sweating acids. So you always want to do that and hit those kidneys, even if you have to go 2 kidney formulas and add a kidney glandular. And take the kidney formulas every 3 hours. As such, we were talking with the pancreatic cancer case. Whatever you need to do to open up these kidneys, you got to do it. Get to the more stringent foods, because fruits and vegetables are just not going to open you up. But the astringent fruits will. And so, work with this. Still eating raw the majority of the time. I have tried to avoid the acid fruits and vegetables like the harsher ones. Kale seems to fade some while I sleep. I have taken Adderall, oh my God, another Adderall case, for 8 years for ADD, and Adderall for ADD and ADHD. So, what you want to do, you've got adrenals, you got your autonomic nervous system down to caboot, so you know why you're having skin problems. So, you get your adrenals up. All right, that's going to kick up your neurotransmitters and your steroids. First, it's going to help kick up the kidney filtration, but it's also going to help enhance the autonomic nervous system. Enhancing the autonomic nervous system will help pull you out of ADD or ADHD, and indeed you're dealing with that. So having a neurological weakness in the ADD and that sort of thing takes me back to the adrenal glands and kidneys. And so that also shows me that you're not filtering as well here. I know these meds are bad for the body, but it seems to help me focus. I went to a dermatologist and she diagnosed me with granuloma annular. I have watched so many of your videos, too many to count. Yeah, I know, and I made too many to count. But I love you guys, and we need to get you all well. I am addicted to you. Oh, thanks. Thanks, man. I love you, too. I love listening to you. I feel so fortunate to have found. Oh, thanks so much. Well, it's possible. You can send me in the Garden of Life label or a copy of it. I'll look at it and let you know about it. The levels of metal were too high in this around the same time I started. Yeah, I mean, wow. And read an article that the levels of metal were too high in the Garden of Life. Huh? You know what? I prize myself on organic superfoods and in my superfood blend. I don't make protein powders. I mean, I did do a little with the infant blend that we have coming. We have Mother's Milk by Nature, and it's for infants, but anybody can take it. I'm going to eat it. But, and I've said this before in other videos, that I'm having a hard time. I'm having to cut down this formula. It's too much nutrition for babies. Too much nutrition. So I'm trying to cut it down so they don't have too much nutrition, because there is a thing of too much nutrition. Can't overwhelm the human body. You know, the simplicity is always better. And then you have proper digestion, proper assimilation or absorption. You have proper utilization and all these things when things are simpler. When things are more complex and you're trying to pound things, sometimes you have the opposite effect. Around the same time I started taking this, the rash is gone from my stomach. Yeah, good deal. Now in my arms on the inner part, well, again, this is systemic. So remember, your lymph system, my friend, just backed up all through you, and you're just seeing that. You just keep working and getting that going. I have allergy, skin tingling when I eat popcorn and other proteins. Yeah, you know, this is the thing. When you're in trouble, you just don't do proteins. And what does this tell you? You know, what does it tell you that when you're sick or in trouble, you don't do proteins, but it's okay when you're healthy? I mean, you see what I'm saying? We live in a little oxymoron thing. Almost like something is crawling on me. Ooh, that could be your nervous system. Or, you know, you could have creepy crawlers. For 2 weeks I juiced and blended oranges and was filtering with white mucus. Oh yeah, good job, man. The mucus is gone and it just looks like a dark yellow now. Just ordering your Heal All tea drinking. Yeah, keep working on that filtration and your adrenals. You know, get that autonomic nervous system. Me, I'm going to do brain and nerve number, if this is affordable, I'm going to do brain and nerve number 2. I'm going to do upper circ. That's for the ADD. I'm going to go down to the adrenals and help that by kicking up the adrenal glands, which will kick up the neurotransmitters for the autonomic. I'm going to clean my GI tract because the seat, the stomach, the brain is in the stomach. So I'm going to clean my GI tract up so I don't have anything impressing my autonomic brain. And then, of course, I'm going to start cleaning my sinuses and my skin and everything else up as well. So that's where I would go. It takes 2 times daily, still on my Adderall. Decreasing the dose a little at a time. Well, you're doing good with that. I'm good, impressed with you. Good job, man. You know, that's what you do. If you got something like that that's really supporting your attitude and everything, then come down off of that slowly. Now, let me suggest a flower essence for you. Say, of course, there's always emergency relief, but I like the moonshine yarrow. I've talked a lot about it and what we've used it for. Oklahoma bombing, I've used it in the ERs, we've used it in mental health clinics. Good stuff. It might be that some good flower essence will help to support your emotions and things as well while you're working on that which is causing this problem, and you're going to find your seat in your emotional body and in your adrenal glands in the human body, physical body. Now, eating grapes and salads with seeds, and avocados with hemp or olive oil, cheating on popcorn with sea salt and peanut butter. Well, the peanut butter is probably your worst cheat when my craving for meat, but it's better than eating the meat and the sugar. Get the fungus out of you, because you know you're high in fungus, probably why you're craving the sugar and the dairy and stuff like that. Popcorn, a good cheat. Get organic popcorn. That's a good cheat. Don't use, if you're going to use salt, get the Himalayan or real salt, not the sea salt. Sea salt is just sodium chloride, almost just like your table salt. But your Himalayan, real salt, or your Celtic salt, or robust salts, even have microtrace elements in them. A little grayish, but use that salt if you're going to use any salt on that. I drink nothing but bottled water and throw in organic fruits for taste. And you guys are doing good. You're doing good. I took a pic of my brown eyes, and there is a ring around my white part of the eye and possibly sulfur. Yeah, well, you'll see, because as it comes out, it comes out the same color. It's going to be orange. Yeah, brown eyes, but you got a white part of the eye and possible sulfur. Maybe. They also naturally brown. Good. My dad passed away from a lymphoma cancer. See, so that automatically tells you that you have kidney and adrenal problems, because most of us, it's almost an accepted fact, because without those, you wouldn't have any lymphatic problems. So here's a dad with lymphoma. See, so this is why you want to really get your lymph moving and get away from anything potential like that. And that's going to home right in on your kidneys and adrenals. Well, look at that. Then you probably were vaccinated that threw you into the ADD, but the weakness came from this family tree coming down there with the adrenal and kidneys. And of course, with the adrenals and the weak myelin sheaths from that, then you get into the ADDs with the thimerosols or neurotoxicity from whatever source, you know. You particularly see this, though, with the vaccines and the thimerosols and stuff, with mercury toxicities, where you see the ADD mostly. And was a diabetic with cardiovascular disease. Well, see, he didn't have cardiovascular disease. All this was a byproduct. The lymphoma, the cardiovascular, and the diabetes, blood sugar problems, all a product of kidney and adrenals. So that means it's down on you genetically, and that's why you're seeing the skin and everything else come up that way. And this is just a case where your dad had it, and probably your mom has symptoms of the same thing, some degree of kidney and adrenals. The doctor started him on chemo with a port in his chest, and he died. He died the next friggin' day. This is. Oh my God. And experiencing lots of depression, missing him horribly. I feel for you, bro. You know what? Sad friggin' stuff. You see why I'm passionate about this and why I see it's so important that each and every one of you get your health back, and that those of you that want to become healers enter a world of beauty and fun, because you have good souls here passing when they could have lived a little longer. Now, we're all going to pass, come and go. The guy, the soul didn't die, but the soul's body he was using died. And the sad thing is, that the family's left, and all for what? Oh, we'll just port them up, get them going. I mean, these guys just don't stop. It's like a machine that won't turn off, and you almost have to turn it off for them. And this is the problem that they're going to be facing coming. Serious problem. You can't have this level of criminality, this level of stupidity stay any length of time. Oh, no. And that's why I say to you medical doctors who are listening to this, get out of your profession and get into the naturopathic profession, or become an MD, ND, and get away from this, because people are coming after you. And people are going to come, and I'm hearing stories all over the place. And, it's like kings who rape people and steal their money and overtax people. They're going to come after you. And no government has ever overcome the people. Not for long. Not for long. So government's got to get their acts together. But this is all about the negative forces. This is not the people that, people are lost and unconscious. That's why we have to get people conscious. That's the only way you change things, really. Out of patience, out of finances. You know what? Just relax, man. You know what? You've gone through a little hell here, but it was there to bring you this into your face of what you're now facing. And so your dad was the sacrificial lamb, so to speak, to let you know that you got to fix this, and that you have kidney and adrenal problems, because his passing then touched me, because you wrote this to me, and now I'm touching back to you. See, and this is all a buddy system to help us all to adjust and open up and get over our things. I was just hoping you could point me in the right direction. Absolutely. If you're out of finances, suck down the Heal All tea. Get up on a more fasting state. You're doing great, man. But you've had some kicks in your butt here, and it's sad to see that. But you're on a warring planet. This is why, this has been talked about with beings that have been here and gone. I hear stories in the inner worlds about this level. I hear all kinds of things. So just have to realize you're on a warring planet, and that's the nature of the beast. Why, and what does it have to offer you? What are you learning here on this rock? And in all this negativity and evilness, what are you learning? And are you pulling yourself up out of it? Because the more you learn to do that, you'll be able to create your own world. But you can't create your own worlds when you're a victim. You must stop being victims and become the cause factor. Turn it around. Become the lead dog. Don't be the follower, which you're always looking at butts. And someone else's, too. I would just like to add, I have never had a problem with my skin before. The garden of life raw meal replacement, and I do realize when detoxing this could be normal. Well, Justin, well, I tell you what, Justin, it shows you what lies underneath. This is already in you. This didn't cause it, it exacerbated the problem. And it's already was in you. So again, look at Dad. Get your kidneys, get your adrenals up, get your kidneys filtering, get this sewer system fixed, clear the skin up, and you're good to go. And you won't have to fall these ways because look at this, you're in the adrenals. So your adrenals is why the ADD, this is the autonomic. It's also why Dad had diabetes. See what I'm saying? We're not talking about diseases. We're talking about tissue that isn't functioning, doing its job. When you have sugar metabolism problems, you're going to cortisol in the adrenal glands. When you have your lymph system backed up and you're having tumors, you're into the kidney filtration problem. You see what I'm saying? We attach, or we don't, but medical doctors attach diseases. And you do have to have names for things, but the concept and the whole ideology of allopathy is dark agey and definitely lacking in understanding, and therefore it has become an aggressive killing machine. Garrett, this is a shout out to you, Garrett, Northern Michigan. So love to you guys up there, and Garrett's dad. Hey, Dad, love you, man. Get yourself going there, and get yourself well. All right, shout out to you guys. Everybody, you got to try to keep yourself balanced the best you can. We're all here to help everybody. I have hemolytic anemia, low counts of red blood cells for 6 years, and I have been taking prednisone. Now, why the hell do they give him prednisone for being anemic? Isn't that funny? For 6 years. Well, that means your adrenals are just about shot, guy. You got to be careful here. Well, the first thing you want to do is you want to get your adrenals up, and you want to get your kidneys filtering. And this is for multiple reasons. This is for mineral utilization. This is for getting filtration gone so you can help clean the spleen and the liver and the bone marrow. You start cleaning all the areas that deal with red blood cells and the promotion of red blood cells. And so you really want to get in, because when you see the suppression of some function, whether it's the production of red blood cells, or you see iron carrying problems, or you see platelet problems, or the loss of whites, or whatever, you always know that you're in an acidic issue with a loss of filtration of the lymphatic system, and that the lymphatic system is the one. This isn't, even though it's red blood cells and dealing with the blood is being the effect of what the acids are doing to the liver, the spleen, other tissues. And also to the impact of that kickback to the blood also. So it isn't the blood so much you focus on, but we do focus, on cleaning the blood. But I would get into your spleen, I would get into your bone marrow, and I would get into your liver. At the same time, though, I'm going after the kidneys, the adrenal glands. I'm going to get you off of prednisone, because you're going to lose your adrenal glands. And you've been on it for 6 years, so you're going to have to come off real slow. I'm going to get the adrenal 400 glandular, and I'm going to start popping that, and I'm going to start trying to get off that prednisone as fast as I possibly can. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to recommend that to my clients in our club. Last year my kidneys stopped working. Not surprised. Not surprised at all. Remember, you're going to always see this, guys. It's going to come back to your kidneys. Always come back to your kidneys. And you just see this. The kidneys and adrenals, they're a huge focal point for man's problems. Kidney and adrenals. And when we want to use the word why, proteins come into mind. Well established, proteins breaks down kidney tissue. Remember I told you the lady that was on the Atkins diet for 5 years and her bladder started breaking apart? I'm just saying. Hey, sweetheart. I hate to ask you, could I beg you for some glass of ice water out of the refrigerator, my bottled water?
Just be right there.
Love you, honey. Thanks.
All right, be there.
Thank you. and so his kidneys have stopped, and now he's on hemodialysis, probably at home, and is working now. My kidneys are now working at 12%. My doctor told me that I needed to switch to peritoneal. No, you want to do the peritoneal dialysis. My question is one, you want to do the one at home. Also, my red blood cell count are at 7. That's high. I am eating raw foods and vegetables and taking whey protein. No whey protein. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, sweetheart.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Keep going.
Thanks, honey. See, here we're going back to the protein again. Get off the protein. When you got kidney failure and you're taking whey protein, cut it off. You're cutting your throat, man. Get on the kidney formulas. Are you peeing? You said your kidney stopped working, meaning you didn't stop peeing? Because if you're peeing, then I'd probably do the peritoneal dialysis and not the hemo. Because anytime you take the blood out and mess with the blood, no. And if you're filtering, we can save your kidneys. We can save your kidneys if you're not, but we got to get them filtering. Because if you can't get your kidneys filtering, and hemodialysis stops kidneys from filtering. So really want to look at that. Also, 7, so you brought your reds up. Immunocal to help my albumin. High, is that safe to take? You know what? You just have to go after it. Getting into your body, even though this sounds superficial, but getting into your kidneys, obviously, this is where the problem was. Your adrenals, as we've talked. Get your adrenals up, get off your prednisones, and start cleaning your body out of acids, and you'll resurrect everything. Your iron will stay stable, everything will stay good. Hemoglobin, albumin, all those proteins will stay good. Can I recover my kidney function if I include some herbs or tinctures on my diet? I think it's essential. I think it's essential. You didn't say that, have you stopped peeing or are you still peeing a little? When you stop urinating completely, you're in trouble. Serious trouble. Serious trouble. So that's why fixing your kidneys is so important. And when I say kidneys, the adrenals on top. They're the puppies. They're the babies. But you dang right you can save your kidneys. And I'd start right now. Throw that whey protein away. Get on your, fruits, berries, and melons. And get my body resurrected, my friend. Because nothing good's going to happen to you if you don't. Because your prednisone, you're losing your adrenal glands every day you're on it. And that's going to shut your kidneys down even more. And, they control the kidneys. So, you have to pay attention to what's going on and what they're doing to you. But, in due respect, we all create our own problems. They're just a modality that doesn't understand how you get well, and they're just trying to do what they do. They're unconscious. Some of them are very conscious. What's the reason with low or no sperm count in men and how to solve it? Thanks, Dan. P.S. You're doing great work, brother. Oh, thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. Oh, boy, when I was young, I wish I had none. You don't leave. Anyway. Well, you want to resurrect Mr. Testicles, that's for sure. When you start to see acidosis setting into the human body, and the reason I'm fixated on acidosis is there's only two sides of chemistry. Pick one. But when you understand that in the human body there's a process of what we call metabolism and respiration, ionization, oxidation, there's all these processes. And during these processes, acids are constantly being spun off. Always a byproduct of chemistry or acids. And so you see this spin-off of acids from all this chemical activity in the human body. From the activity of moving muscles and lactic acid to parasitic activity and the creation of uric acids to the cell creation of boratic, phosphoric, sulfuric, etc., lactic, etc. Now, the question, inflammation, what's the causative factor of pain and swelling a symptom of inflammation. Well, we blame inflammation for our problems when inflammation is actually a natural immune response with interleukins and interferons and etc. To what? And the key word in all research and all papers, proteins. Proteins. So your body's constantly responding against acids/proteins. And different proteins have different pHs and have different immuno responses to them. Good example is the difference between a dairy response and, let's say, a northern bean response. Big difference. So it just depends. So I would get my kidneys and my adrenal glands and my prostate well. And then in turn the testicles will come well. Because the only reason that you lose any fluid or that which like sperm and things like this, dehydration and acidosis. And you have to return interstitial hydration by the elimination of proteins out of the diet, the protein material, and you get into the fruits, the berries, and the melons with occasional vegetable material, and you're good, and you'll regenerate, and you'll be extremely, shall we say, able to procreate. So, yeah, go after your kidneys, go after your adrenal glands and your prostate. But your kidneys control testicle and prostate problems. Why? Because they control the lymph system all around that area. You could use lower circulation to help increase blood flow to Mr. and the puppies. Could help you with that. I would use my male reproductive formula because it's got some herbs in there that help to increase sperm count. That's good. There's some good herbs out there for that, but you want to go into your kidneys and your adrenals and fix those and go that. And I keep this message, keeps saying, remember everyone to go to moveyourlymph.com. And I got to remember that because people on Facebook is doing some weird things, I heard, not putting up questions and things that people are doing. So they've created a whole new site called moveyourlymph.com. I love that. MoveYourLymph.com. You know what? All you guys coming up with these cool cliches and all this stuff, we are going to change the consciousness big time on the planet. It feels good, too, that finally there's going to be some joy. People are going to finally be able to smile on their faces. This was good. I didn't write this guy's name down, but I wanted to read this to you because this is from I don't know if he's a psychiatrist or a psychologist in the UK, but he wrote a beautiful thing here about the definition in Latin, from the name physician, a person qualified to practice medicine, then medicine, the science and practice of the diagnosis, treatment, and prevention of disease, and technical use often taken to exclude surgery, and a drug or other preparation for the treatment and prevention of disease. Druggist, pharmacist, pharmacology. Pharmakos, it's Greek, meaning sacrifice. I mean, you go on and on and on. It's pretty cool here. But the thing I love about this guy, he sees really what's going on here. He sees through all of this. And that's pretty good for a psychiatrist or psychologist. He's seeing through this because they're using the mind a lot. And this gentleman just saw through, or lady, saw through the whole thing. There is no such thing as a disease. Disease is the end product of the cause of mal-educated food choices and the resulting systemic effects of acidosis, toxicity, lymphatic constipation arising from the treatment drug isn't it? And it goes on and on and on. And so I have to tell you, my hat's off to you, bro, because it's just right on. There is no such thing. There's chemistry and physics rules, and you have cause and effect. And there is no disease like cancer creeping through people. I'm going to get you. Look, it's creeping up here now. Oh, no, it's over here. It's worse than that. It's worse than that. That's the problem. It's not better than that. It's worse than that. When I have a tumor in my breast, I have lymph stagnation all through my right side at least. So it's much more serious than that. All right, here's Gwen. Oh, I talked to Babe, by the way, guys. I don't think she'd mind if I say that. I had an appointment with Babe who went almost 1,000 days of juice fasting. 3 years, over 3 years. She went over 1,000 days juice fasting. She's still alive, and she's still kicking. Pretty proud of that lady. Dr. M, I trust your herbal knowledge, and I am hoping you can help me in making my own salve for summer where I live. Ooh, I love salves. You know, a good salve, you know. I live in the woods. Oh, yeah. And don't get me going. Because I love outdoors so much, so do I. I tell you what, I am not an indoor guy at all. I've been doing the fruit tree thing all weekend. I've been planting fruit trees and playing in their gardens. Because I love outdoors so much, every spring I go through a battle with 20 or 30 tick bites, followed by a summer battle with chiggers. Yeah, I hate all that. I can catch it quickly, but those buggers are smart and can never... I know! We have what called no-see-ums. You can't hardly see them, and they get you down here. The bites itch where the acidic saliva, absolutely. Now you're getting it. Because that's what it does. Acids break down so they can break down the tissue so they can get the food. Oh, yeah. Isn't it neat when you start understanding how everything's working, how God used simplicity, two sides, to create endless combinations. Fantastic stuff. I mean, just unbelievable. Continues to irritate with the skin. Can you recommend some herbs I can put together into a salve or oil to have on hand? Wow, I'm going to have to think about that. I know that marigold, calendula, those are good for itching and bites like that. Of course, comfrey, you can grow that out in the woods, really good for bites and stuff like that. Anything lymphatic, of course. I mean, I don't think I would tell you to go out to get some bloodroot and poke root and things like that, but you could, but you don't use very much of those things. Anything, again, to help move the lymphs. Geez, let's get into that thinking. I'd have to, off the cuff, you know what I'll do is I'll put together something and let you know about, come and do a video for you about that. But I would use a coconut oil base. I use a little grapeseed oil in my base, a little olive oil in my base, and a little hemp oil in my base. That's what I use in my salves. I use hemp oil, olive oil, coconut oil, and grapeseed oil. Very nutritive. Just great salves, and what you can do with them while the body takes them in. Oh, I just love this sort of thing. Additionally, we're working, and I get my body alkaline too, you know, and getting all this dead animal putrefaction out of my body too, because sometimes bugs are drawn to you because of your smells. Additionally, while working on removing the fungus and sulfur, exactly, as well as stagnant lymph. Yeah, and the more you do that, you know, less bugs bother you. I notice that out there. Stinky people get buggy bites. I go through bouts of general itchiness, absolutely, especially after something that gets up a good sweat. Yeah, see, because that again is opening up, pushing fungus out and everything else. And so getting up a good sweat does stir up subcutaneous lymph toxicity. Subcutaneous, right under the skin there. That's tied to the lymph nodes, like I said, and everything. And that's where you see a lot of lymph building up. And then, of course, when you see it expressing through the skin like that, through the sores and stuff of acids, you know. Will this same salve help all things? Yeah, you can get a salve that helps the itching and all that to it. Would absolutely. I've got a salve for bites and stuff like that, and you can go to any health food store and pick up some there too if you didn't want. You needed something now because it takes a while to make salves. I've got a antifungal, which is for itching and stuff like that, and then I have the Heal All salve, and I have a burn salve. Okay, let's see if we can get some more red here. I'd like to live in the woods with you. I tell you, I love living in the woods, and where I live, it's mainly woods. Hi, Dr. Morrison. Thanks for all your help. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Who is this? This is Gaz, G-A-Z. I hope I pronounced that right. I have been suffering from excess mucus and phlegm for about 5 years. And that's the point. You read any of the Arnold Ehret's books, he really is the one that put the attention on the mucus. And we know, of course, the mucus from the lymphatic system. And, of course, we know that the mucosa is part of the immune system. And, of course, we know mucus is an immune response to a protein or a viral or a chemistry that the body finds antagonistic to itself. And dairy proteins, of course, anything like cheese, milk, yogurts, kefirs, going to cause you a lot of mucus. Now, do you like a lot of mucus in your head where you can't breathe, can't smell, can't taste, can't hear, can't think? Or it's in the thyroid, swelling the thyroid, or making goiters, or causing bronchitis or pneumonias? If you like those sort of things, then I would probably keep drinking it. But I don't like any of those sort of things, and I would ditch them and clean this mucus out. I would also get my kidneys filtering, make sure you do that so you're pulling mucus out of you instead of it oozing out of your orifices. That's the problem. When you have mucus oozing out of your orifices, that means you're backed up, you're not filtering. And once you get your kidneys filtering, then all this mucus can come out of you. That's why you start to see mucus in your urine, shreds of mucus in your stools. All this is starting to come out the eliminative organs instead of being pushed out your eyes, ears, nose, and mouth, that sort of thing. Or vaginal. Women get a lot of mucus out that way. And it's just the body's from the mucosa. And the mucosa is part of the protection of the cells. Mucus is protection. It's lipid-based, cholesterol-based. And just can't get rid of it. It is so frustrating. Well, the only way to get rid of mucus is detoxing. And detoxing is an astringent process, at least to some degree. As I no longer smoke, and when I have to cough, it sounds like I am a smoker. Well, you got a lot of mucus yet in there, locked interstitially, that you're just going to have to work out. Now, 3-lung tea and lungs formula are expectorants. And they're all designed to help loosen up hardened mucus and sputum, same stuff, and expectorate it easier. And that's what I do. I get up on the 3-lung tea, the lung formula. At the same time, I'm on fruits that are astringent, which is your subacid, and your acid fruits. And I'm going after this. I'm going to start detoxing. It's the only way to get rid of mucus. Mucus in, mucus out. There isn't a great deal of mucus, but I have to get it up every day around 11 a.m. before I can go out. Now, well, like I said, you could do just a little bit of horseradish root, chew on it. Anything is an expectorant, and that's what we use. Astringents are like expectorants, and that's what we use to clean the body out. Your lymphatic herbs are all expectorant type herbs, that sort of thing. At one point, a few years back, it affected my voice to the point where I was very hoarse. Well, it can affect your voice to where you have cancer in your voice box. I mean, let's face it. You don't get rid of this mucus and the acids that it's around and that it's suppressing to be eliminating, you're going to chew up your cells. Nothing good comes about retained mucus. It becomes a mass. So you want to get that out of there. No question about it. At one point, a few years back, it affected voice. Yep, had to physically raise the tone of my voice so my voice could be heard. Another thing is start deep breathing, and you can use the word "hu" or you can do "om." These vibrational words break up mucus too. I was even sent for a rhinoplasty on my nose to see if it was caused by my sinus being blocked. Oh man, do you have a deviated septum? The only reason I'd let them in there, a rhinoplasty, you must have had a deviated septum. But it didn't help. But it did at least straighten out his nose, he said, or she. I am currently on a dairy-free diet. No kidding. It's about time. But it doesn't seem to be helping, though. Well, because you got probably a lot in you. You could have buckets of mucus. I had an old dentist go into a 2-week grape fast for me, and he started draining from the sinuses. He said I filled up buckets I'm going, ugh. He said, where does all that storage? Good question. Interstitially. So it swells, suppresses blood flow, nerve flow. Same thing in the heart, same thing in the lungs, same thing in the liver, same thing in the pancreas, and after a while we get tumors. Easy to understand when you start looking at this, isn't it? And understanding this whole thing, absolutely. Absolutely. And then things don't seem to be so mysterious as the allopathic community would like you to believe. There's a reason for everything, guys. See, dairy free, a little better. It's not even clear what my problem is either. GERD or postnasal drip. I do get heartburn and indigestion quite easily, but usually only after a night out or when I drink red wine or eat spicy curries. Yeah. You gotta clean up your GI tract, which will then clean the pancreas and liver up. Do you think the only remedy will be totally cut everything out apart from fruit and nuts? I'd get rid of the nuts too for a while. Sorry, bro. Get rid of the nuts. Go on the fruits, berries, and melons. You can even do some salads and start detoxing this out of you, because that's the only way you're going to get the mucus out, is start detoxing it out of you. Because in an acid environment, that mucus will dehydrate and lock and become hardened and lock in there, and you'll have mucus plugs or create a mass. And that's just how we do it. I will if I have to, but I like to go to the gym, and I'm currently trying to build muscle, and I currently don't want to lose any weight. Much love, Gary. Well, Gary, dang it, I'm kind of a guy that wants to take care of business first and then go build up, because it's hard to build. If you buy a house and you're going to turn it over, and you go in, the roof's rotten, you got to replace the roof and everything, are you going to take off the old roof, or are you just going to put a new roof on top of the old roof? You get me? It's never good to put a new roof on top of an old one, because your underlying medium is rotten or full of mucus. So it's more important to fix, because if you're not filtering, Gary, and you're out working out, you have the potential to lose your lower back, your knees, your hips, and your elbows. So watch your joints. You start feeling your joints, you're going to have to stop, go fix this, and come back. Because, Gary, if you don't filter, you lose. And you start creating more acidosis through the increase of all what we talked about. Oxidation, respiration, everything. Which means increasing the burning of material, which increases the accumulation of waste and byproducts from the burning of this material. And so our lactic acids go up, everything goes up, and then you start losing your joints. So it's almost better to get in, get your body cleaned out and healthy, then go to the gym and build up. And this time, past Wellville, right up to the stars. I'm going to read one more here. I've got so many of them. I apologize, and I probably never will get to them all. I have to realize that. We could be sitting here for literally days and days and days. I would do that for you. And I'm going to attempt to get as much as I can this week. Let me see. This is Claire. My 18-year-old daughter was diagnosed. Okay. So I'll just say this vaginitis type. Now this is common for ladies coming up. And remember, until I had Rita, I don't think I had a case of this, looking back in my lifetime. And I now have bunches of cases of this. And this is a bad thing for females. Men have their things, but this particular is real bad. When the female vulva and the clitoris, the whole female area, is so inflamed with acidosis that it's so painful. They swell up to where you can't even, and this is 18-year-old vaginitis, so to speak. She cannot put a tampon, and she cannot have any sexual relationship. It's too painful, like a razor blade. She has had a hemorectomy, a hymenectomy. You know what? Cutting away things. These guys are friggin' nuts. All right. Said the hymen was small and thick. It was swollen because it's acidic. You know, these guys are friggin' nuts. They'll do anything to hurt people. I'll tell you what, after the surgery, we thought that everything would be fine. Unfortunately, my daughter is still experiencing pain. Of course, because the lymph system in that area, even in the vaginal wall, not good. And this goes back to her kidneys and adrenal glands, Mom and daughter. You got to fix this because you'll atrophy that area and you'll get so much pain you won't even be able to put on pants or nothing. You can't do this. We've had cases really, really bad. And so you can't do this. The doctor could not examine her, not even introduce a Q-tip. So, you get some Heal-All tea, ladies. And even the stomach tea will work, but the Heal-All tea. And get a Kotex or a pad of some sort and fill it with tea, saturate it with tea like a sponge and put it there and a towel and everything and let it absorb in. The next thing you've got to do is you've got to get your kidneys filtering to fix this. There's no magic down here. You've got to fix this. Now, you could introduce, but you can't even get anything in. When you can introduce a little bit of this Heal-All tea. You could add a little baking soda in there just to get some bicarbonate, just to help with the immediate swelling of the problem. I also would recommend cold pack. Anything cold down there, maybe not ice, but a little cold to cool off this inflammation, this swelling. You don't go cutting off parts of the female genitalia. That's medical things again, medical thinking. Cutting off the hay. Doctors say it is physiological. That's when you want to take somebody and smack them. I can tell you, it's psychological. Doctors say it is psychological, but I was wondering if Dr. Morse does not have, it's not psychological. Why would a woman lie about that? Why? I don't know where these people come from. I can tell you this could be a very serious problem here. She's got to get on the raw. She's got to get herself up, get on the fruits, berries, and melons. This is a serious problem. Very serious problem. And then if she's going to start popping atypical cells on the vaginal wall, that'll even lead her into cervical cancer, vaginal wall cancer, or a tumor in the vaginal canal. You have to stop and fix this, sweetheart. You stop and fix this. And that means you got to get up on a raw diet. You got to get your kidneys filtered, get your adrenals up, and start fixing this. You can use poultices to hold teas, herbal teas like the Heal-All tea, up against there. And that'll help absorb in the tissue and help, but you got to pull all these acids up and through your lymph nodes into your kidneys and pee them out. You got to do that. Keep her off of gluten and dairy. She's got to come off of everything. This is a serious case, Mom. And if daughter doesn't, daughter's going down a very bad road to hellville. If she gets up on Facebook or moveyourlymph.com, there is a lady, her first name, I'll just give first name Rita. She'll be glad to tell her what she's into and how to get out of it. But this is bad stuff. This is not good stuff. I feel sorry. A lot of ladies are having this, and you don't want to go to a medical doctor. She starts taking female reproductive and endocrine gland, and she drinks 1 cup of Heal-All tea a day. No, you're going to have to use some poultices down there and stuff like that. Female reproductive, yes, but this is about her lymph system down there, and that's a kidney adrenal problem, and that she wants to get after this and get all that acid out of that area, and any deterioration from that will rebuild. Please tell me if this condition is curable. Very curable, but you got to really get into the process of detox to do it, because that's the problem. And this is going to be a systemic problem, so there's more problems in her. Thank you much. Thanks so much. Thanks for the inquiry, Claire. But this is a serious problem. Daughter needs to listen to this video and get with that, and maybe find some ladies that have gone through that on Facebook and communicate with them, and then go right after this, because nothing good comes of this. Sad stuff, and it affects a person's life and enjoyment, because our sexuality is a big part of our enjoyment, of course. Well, I love you all, and you're all doing well. There's a lot of you suffering, and I know a lot of you have written in here. If you're so bad, you got to call in and get someone to help you, because sometimes I can't get to these in due proper time. There's so many other things that I'm trying to get my level 2 ready, and so that should be fun this year, this level 2. But we're working hard on that, so I'm working on a lot of things to try to get so many things I'm writing and stuff. So it's hard to always get to these videos, unfortunately, but you have very important questions and very serious questions, some of you, that need handled. So keep reviewing the videos as much as you can. Your remedy is moving lymph. So go to moveyourlymph.com and talk to all the great souls that are helping everyone there. You guys are just got my love totally.